It's been a strong offseason for the New York Jets. Le'Veon Bell will shoulder some of the offensive weight that Sam Darnold has to carry. Adam Gase was hired as their new head coach, and the team actually drafted very well, of course with the first round pick being spent on Quinnen Williams, which makes a decision to fire GM Mike Maccagnan even more puzzling. Sure, Maccagnan was responsible for the extortionate Darrelle Revis contract prior to the 2016 downfall, the drafting of Christian Hackenberg, and a lack of strong pass rushers on the outside, but overall the last 2 years, his direction couldn't have been stronger. Whoever takes over from Maccagnan will have a strong base to build on, and unfortunately for Eagles fans, it's setting up kind of nicely for Joe Douglas. Adam Gase will reportedly fill the interim role while Christopher Johnson, the Jets chairman, conducts a search for Maccagan's replacement. But he may not have to look far, in fact just a short trip up the I-95. The Eagles vice president of player personnel has a strong relationship with Gase after working together into Chicago, and rumours of him eventually climbing the next rung of the front office ladder in New York have hardly new. This has been circulating for almost a month now. Douglas has a reputation of being one of the best at what he does, and someone that has risen through the ranks at a rapid rate. While he's been absolutely imperative in setting the draft board for Howie Roseman after the last few years alongside Andy Weidel, his departure has kind of always been expected. Roseman went on the record in 2017 saying that part of bringing him in here is trying to change what we've done and trying to get better. It started with using a different grading scale and getting us all acclimated with the way he talks about players and how he grades players. As we go through the free agent board and the draft board, we trust in Joe and his ability to put that together. Now, a key point of that is, of course, that Andy Weidel, he was someone that was brought over from Baltimore with Joe Douglas, who have worked together very closely both in Baltimore and in Philadelphia, could also be susceptible for leave. If Joe Douglas does end up taking a GM role, he's more than likely going to bring one of his best talent evaluators with him, and this explains a recent trend of the Eagles making some very subtle front office adjustments over the last year or so. Douglas has spent 15 years with the Baltimore Ravens, first as an area scout where his work influenced the decision to draft Joe Flacco, and then as a national scout in 2012. He held this position for 3 years before moving to Chicago to become the Bears' head of college scouting in 2015. It was here, of course, where Douglas learned under Bears GM Ryan Pace and then met Adam Gase. Regarded as a future GM by teams around the league, Douglas hails from the Ozzie Newsome School of Scouting, and the way he views the draft has already been made very, very clear. Most recently, the Eagles selected Andre Dillard with the 22nd pick in the NFL draft after trading up from 25, just 1 year removed from trading back to select Dallas Goedert. It's all about value for the Eagles, just as it was for Ozzie Newsome in Baltimore. Whether it's incredibly valuable free agent signings like Crayvon LeBlanc, Patrick Robinson and Zach Brown, or a meticulous draft strategy, Douglas has left a firm imprint on Philadelphia, aiding tremendously in the rise of Howie Roseman. Now, the Eagles have been able to block potential interviews before, but it all comes down to the role, because if it's viewed as a promotion, the Eagles can't stand in his way and Douglas is free to choose as he pleases. The Texans have been a team that have tried to snag Joe Douglas as well, and various other teams have tried. All have been fronted by the Eagles blocking the move, but this all comes down to what Douglas wants, because if Joe Douglas wants to be a general manager, let's be brutally honest here, Howie Roseman isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And while the New York Jets situation, and most recently the extortionate signing of Le'Veon Bell, the aggression to come up and get Sam Darnold, may not fit exactly what Joe Douglas would have in mind in his own situations, he's now got a firm base of a franchise running back, a franchise quarterback, a rookie defensive lineman who could be the centre point of what they're trying to do for years to come, alongside 1 year of Leonard Williams. It's an enticing job, it's a relatively big market, and the Jets have a strong base that Douglas can walk into and really set his own imprint moving forward. The foundation's been set, much like it was when he arrived in Philadelphia. But the question now becomes, does Douglas want to be a general manager now? Is he ready for that position? And are the Eagles prepared for his loss? Because again, if the Eagles do lose Joe Douglas, it likely won't just be Douglas. There will be a couple of other staff members that follow that work very closely with the current vice president of player personnel. But what do you think, guys? Are the Eagles in danger of losing Joe Douglas? I'm not sure. I think himself and Howie Roseman have a very strong bond. You can see it in the chemistry in the way they talk in press conferences, and the way Douglas has the majority of control over that draft board speaks volumes. But does he want to go to a team where he has another strong relationship and get paid for the extra responsibility? Does Joe Douglas deem himself ready to go up and become a general manager, or does he want to wait one more year? I don't know. I think the Eagles, again, are kind of prepared for this situation. Douglas has been one of the rapid risers of the NFL front office trees in recent memory, and it's certainly a possibility and one that everyone should be prepared for. But again, let me know down in the comments what you think. Leave a like if you've enjoyed this video and hit subscribe for more Philadelphia content. Don't forget, guys, head to phillysportsnetwork.com for your daily dose of Philadelphia sports news.